is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
Giddens in the backfield. The play fake. One-on-one down the sidelines. Caught! Flag! Touchdown! Brown! Doing it for the Cats!
I mean, this is what football's all about, man. We wanted to put the game away. The drive before obviously didn't go our way. Ultimately, you just gotta make plays in big moments. And Coach Kleiman challenged, some of our, captains, top players on the team to just make plays.
Ran the heck out of the football. That was the goal, to try to stop the run. We didn't do that whatsoever. They had 224 yards rushing, which they ultimately dominated the time of possession, which is not good because now we can't get on the field and do what we're capable of doing.
Don't get me wrong, getting a win and moving to 6-0 is a good thing and a good feeling, but our kids know that we're going to have to be way more focused heading into this weekend and heading into next week as we have Hayes coming up.
Could be the premier game statewide. Hayes High is playing with a lot of juice right now, and rightfully so when you look at who they have beaten and how they have beaten them. And obviously Great Bend with a lot of quality wins against some really good teams.
We did a better job creating turnovers. They put the ball on the ground a few times. We didn't get early, but later in the game we started getting those, and I think that was the biggest difference in the game. Because both teams kind of held true to who they were, and I think that the turnovers played a huge factor.
We always say it's easier to learn lessons when you win than when you lose. But, the message when we were talking to the boys after the game is like, guys, that doesn't feel very good. Yeah, we broke our losing streak. If you're going to have 135 or 165 yards of penalties, but we were a more athletic team than those guys. And
we played with some tempo early in the first half. We had a false start. We played with tempo. In the second quarter, we fumbled the football. Those were all, up-tempo plays.
And good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB 95.5 FM, the talk of the town. It's a Monday show. Steve Webster in with you today. Mike Corson is in studio. And the last man to see Mike Hesher alive, Sean Bear.
He was breathing when I left.
He was
Do you
breathing.
have an alibi?
We'll see. Well, nothing's happened. I don't think. I mean, he was going on to Colorado after the game down in Liberal on Friday night. And running the controls here today is Landon Winkler. All right. On the program today, well, he's here. Sean Bear. We'll talk about Great Bend Panther football today. Great Bend Tribune sports editor Jim Mazunas will join him. He's at regional golf today. And Mike Corson goes on the
Prowl.
That's your job, Landon. Come on, you don't have a mic over there. Okay, on the prowl with Great Bend Panther cross-country coach Lyles Lashley. Gets to our sounds of the past 24 hours or so. The call on ESPN Saturday night, Avery Johnson hooking up with Jace Brown on a 50-yard touchdown pass with 2:14 remaining. 18th-ranked Kansas State escapes Boulder with a 31-28 win over Colorado. Chris and Avery Johnson after the game talking about Chris Kleiman challenged the team to make plays down the stretch. That was a big win, getting a win in Boulder, 31-28. Deion Sanders talking about K-State controlling the clock with a running game. They didn't run as many plays, kept their offense off the field. Mike Corson was in attendance at the game, on the sideline, in the end zone.
So, yeah. And the
Heck
crazy
of a
thing,
game.
Yeah, nice long lens, but it's not 80 yards nice. So right off the bat, K-State kind of scored on my end, and the very last touchdown came right towards me. The first touchdown, didn't know that Avery Johnson did the Deion shuffle two-step. Didn't understand that's what he was doing until I was watching the broadcast later. We had DJ Giddens. What a machine to see him live. Completely ate up the clock, I think 182 yards. But it was 21-7, third quarter. Colorado getting close, takes the lead, has a ton of momentum, raucous crowd over there, and then you're like, oh, that was nice, K-State. That's 2 losses now. And what do you know? Avery Johnson brings him back in 3 plays, and it was all she wrote.
Pretty good environment there, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought Folsom Field would be small, but it holds a little over 50,000, which is on paper slightly bigger than the bill. And it was full and packed, and College Game Day discussed the whole injury thing, flopping that morning. And I think you had about 4 out of 6 plays where K-State guys went down. So it was 21-7, I think, at that point. The Buff crowd wasn't really into it. Oh, they were into it after that. So you had 48,000 people just booing at the top of their lungs.
Avery Johnson had K-State fans had to be panicking. I mean, that looked like an oblique injury, and then...
Yeah, it was weird. It was towards midfield, and I saw he didn't get up, and then he was kind of holding his hip area, and he kind of meandered back into the locker room. Wasn't sure if we'd see him again. When he came out, I felt pretty good. He didn't have a limp at all, but then he did take another sack, and you're like, uh-oh, is he going to get up? Yeah, so the kid, he throws a late interception, not phased. Takes a selfie with somebody in the stands, not phased. During the game.
Really?
Gets down late in a crazy crowd, not phased.
Well seasoned. He's a veteran already.
Yeah, I think he's good, but I think if he's not going to go to the pros yet, but he could be a premier quarterback in a year or two.
Kansas State now 2-1. They are tied with Arizona State, Cincinnati, Colorado, West Virginia, all at 2-1. You have BYU, Iowa State, Texas Tech, all at 3-0 in the Big 12 standings. Arizona State beats Utah. Preseason favorites going down right now. They're 4-2. Arizona State wins 27-19. Iowa State wins at West Virginia 28-16. BYU hammered Arizona 41-19. And it was Cincinnati beating UCF by the score of 19-13. K-State's finishing schedule, well, they go to West Virginia on Saturday to take on the Mountaineers. Then K-State has KU at home. They travel to Houston. They're home against Arizona State, home against Cincinnati, and then they end the year in Ames against Iowa State.
Could very well be the Big 12 title game.
Absolutely.
I think BYU is definitely a contender, so hopefully they'll get knocked off here. But it would be fun if that Iowa State finale was the clincher.
BYU's a surprise team to me.
I don't think they were ranked coming in. It was supposed to be, Utah, K-State, even KU. Arizona's fallen off the map. Kansas is definitely fallen off the map. And BYU is what now? Pushing top 10. I think they're 14-ish.
Okay.
BYU's always tough to know what they're going to have because I lived out there, and you don't know what's coming home from missions, Mormon missionaries, and you get the guys that are 26 years old and they're Polynesian, and I mean these are men playing amongst boys, and I mean they've got man strength, and so you never know what's going to show up from year to year that is eligible to play.
Yeah, they did talk about that on game day Saturday morning. Also, that's a 2-year mission. Then you also got a Jewish quarterback. So nobody would have planned on that a couple years ago. How's this kid going to respond? So what do they call him? They have shirts, so I can say it, and he supports it. BYU.
Well, yeah. It's kind of like your shirt. You left at normal, and you came back with dreadlocks and tie-dye from Colorado.
Down on Pearl Street. Okay, I'm not dressed like a fish.
Yeah, you grab the fish costume. Yes, indeed. Also from college football Saturday, great game. Oregon beats Ohio State 32-31. Oklahoma, Mike Myrick lives over in Larned. He's on our officiating crew, and I've been giving him a hard time about, Oklahoma, well, we're going to the SEC. Now, Mike is from Otis Bison, so I said, your Oklahoma now is kind of like that Otis Bison homecoming queen that's now, gone on to a big 6A school. So,
yeah, Oklahoma, I tell you, that SEC is just a gauntlet of a schedule, period. And hey, the Big 12 is too. You used to start to look at some of these super conferences. Some teams that were dominant in, say, the Pac-12 are just average nannies when they're stepping into some of these big super conferences now.
Texas is finally stepping up what they wanted to be before in the Big 12, where they never could win the league. Well, they're 34-3 over Oklahoma. Illinois over Purdue 50-49. Big Ten's overranked. Overrated. Iowa's okay. Let's see. Yeah, those are the other ones. Okay. Alabama beats South Carolina 27-25.
That guy's lucky because if he loses that game, he's getting run out of town.
It's hard for me to grasp college football right now with the NIL and the pay for play and things like this. the transfer portal. But everybody can get guys now.
I don't know if you've heard. They are doing away with the national letter of intent. Have you guys talked about that?
No.
They're not going to have a national letter of intent anymore. Instead, they're going to a contractual agreement to where if these players decide to jump in the portal, they have to pay their NIL back. I think that's the first step to bringing this thing into a realistic and get some control of it. So if you sign a 4-year contract and all of a sudden you get $870,000 a year to go to school at Alabama, and then you decide, hey, midway through I'm going to leave, you better figure out a way to give that money, that NIL money back, because in your contract, apparently, it's going to be stated.
It's got to be. I mean, you look at what happened at UNLV with their quarterback.
Oh, yeah. And exactly. That scenario is contractually agreed upon when you do sign, not a letter of intent, but a contract that you're guaranteed the money. So it's supposed to be a two-way protection, but I think people are starting to wise up to this.
You need now 2 more staff positions have been added to college football, right? You need a capologist, okay, and you need a general manager.
Well, that's what it's coming to. It's crazy, but that's what it's coming to.
And an attorney.
And
contracted
several attorneys.
Yeah.
All right, on to our other cuts. Aaron Beck, 14-7, Great Bend wins Friday night in Liberal. 14-0 lead at halftime. Liberal made it very – we'll break this down coming up in just a moment. I wasn't expecting 14-7, Sean.
It was a weird game. It was just a heavyweight title fight in the first quarter. Defenses were out there just kind of throwing the weight around. Great Bend got a little bit of momentum rolling. Third quarter was kind of like watching paint dry. And then all of a sudden, fourth quarter, their big offensive line just started paying dividends from leaning on us all night long. And, of course, we got a lot of guys that go both ways. We got a little tired late in the game, and it was like, can we just stay on our feet long enough? So, interesting game.
They ran 71 plays. We'll talk more about that game. Xavier Porras with 173 yards, but the Panthers win. And now we get ready for Friday night. Connor Nickel on the show saying this is going to be the biggest game in the state. Don't think there's any doubt. Hayes High, Great Bend coming up on Friday.
Tony Crow coming back to town.
Tony Crow's a pretty good coach.
He's a pretty good guy, too, honestly.
Yeah, he is. Pretty good guy, pretty good coach. And, yeah, a Titan matchup coming up on Friday night. Zach Baird talking about his team's ability to, force some turnovers, led to 3 unanswered touchdowns in the second half, 48-31. They win. Taryn Kraft, 2 of the final 3 touchdowns, finished with 114 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ren Gala, quarterback, throwing for more than 100 yards for the 3rd straight week, finished with 159 yards, 2 scores. Mason Martin caught a touchdown pass. Jason Robinson. It's good to see that name back in. Hoisington now will play Larned on Friday night. Brady Keith following his team's 14-7 win at Southwestern Heights. They're at home against Hoisington Friday. They had like 135 yards of penalties. Officials having to rest their shoulders after throwing that many, but they got the win. So Larned 2-4 against Hoisington 2-4 on Friday night. Other games: Pratt beat Phillipsburg 49-20. This one caught. Ellsworth was unbeaten, taking on a 1-4 Halstead team, and the Dragons rolled them Friday night. 31-13. Ellsworth loses for the first time. A very tough loss for Ellenwood, who looked like they were going to cruise into the postseason. Now that's kind of up in the air between them and Medicine Lodge, who they play the final game of the year. But Hutch Trinity beat Ellenwood 26-15 on Friday night. Central Plains 46-0 over Canton Galva. Central Plains goes to Little River on Friday, who lost their first game of the season on Friday night. Hodgman County beat Maxville 46-0. Wichita County 70, La Crosse 6, Mineola 52, St. John 6, Victoria 72, Stafford 14. Kinsley is 5-1. They beat Meade 30-14. Tescott, a big district win over Otis Bison 27-20. In 6-man football, Pawnee Heights beat Moscow 66-20. And our final sound of the weekend, Sean Payton Said he saw at least some positives in the second half. Chargers building a 23-0 lead, then hung on in Denver, 23-16. Interesting tidbit you put in your sports this morning. Broncos have never been shut out in their 65-year history. It looked like that's what it was heading for.
Yeah, thanks to the Associated Press for that nugget. I drove by, Empower Field at Mile High on Saturday. I don't think I've been that close to the stadium. It's massive, but I hexed it evidently.
Well, did you hear the little soundbite of Nix? Bo Nix. He's doing all the right things. He actually says he threw a touchdown pass. The ball should have been caught in the back of the end zone by, I think it's a rookie receiver. And he said, my problem is I just threw that ball just a little bit too long. I mean, it was on the hands, those are the kind that pros need to make. And he's taking all the blame for the pass that it was 1 yard thrown too long, and he's shouldering it. So he's doing all the right stuff there in Denver. Look out. More AFC West power.
Chargers and Broncos, they're maybe not this year. That win by the Chiefs out in Los Angeles against the Chargers, that was a big win. So now they'll have to play them back at home. But the Broncos now are 3-3, and the Chargers are 3-2. How about the Cowboys last night?
Yeehaw!
47-9, they get beat by Detroit. I'm glad they got CeeDee Lamb to that big contract because that'll make it easier for him to bring in players now with his big salary at the wide receiver position.
Well, Detroit did so well last year. I think they came out, lost their first game of the year, and it was like, how? And now they're showing that I think Detroit will be a solid postseason team.
Yeah,
kind of fun to watch those guys.
That injury, how much is that going to take out Hutchins? I mean, he was.
That's a big defensive piece.
That's a big defensive piece to have your leg wrapped around somebody else's leg.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out I was driving a bunch this weekend and missed a lot of headlines.
Yeah. Oof.
Ouch.
Tonight, Monday Night Football, Buffalo at New York. Final sound of the weekend. Didn't have time to play it. We had really close, tense Major League Baseball action last night.
Swing and a grounder to third. Fair ball down the line. In to score is Kike Hernandez. Kiermaier on his heels. Racing around third is Ohtani. He's in to score. Mookie Betts, a bases clearing double, and it is 9-0.
Breaks my heart that Kiermaier's a Dodger.
Yeah, retiring after this year. Yeah.
I think the last time I watched the Mets play, they were like an 80s hair band. The pitching staff was.
No, Syndergaard.
Yeah.
Thor.
9-0, and they're making them play again today because it's on the West Coast, right? It's Los Angeles. You would think they'd give them some time maybe to play the night game. No, because the Yankees are playing. So we'll have baseball this afternoon, 2:30, and according to my time chart, that's 12:30 in Los Angeles today for Game 2 of that series between the Mets and Dodgers. Then after that, it'll be the Yankees and Guardians. We'll have both games for you here on KVGB. So how would you handle that if one of your receivers dropped a pass right in his hands? Would you throw your arms up in the air, or
do you have one of those beepers that you can? No. I mean, hey, you know what you do? You come right back to him. You come right back to him the next play, and you throw the ball right back at him. If they drop an easy, a gimme, you come right back to them, or they think you don't have confidence in them. That's what you do.
You know what used to just irk me is a wide receiver that would throw his arms up in the air when he was open.
Yeah.
Wide open. Oh, okay. Well, why don't you draw attention to that in the coaches up top? Of course, I had an offensive lineman tell me, Sean, one time that I had a receiver open.
Oh, that's
after I got sacked.
Did you say, were you laying on your back and looking up the field, or what?
What
how'd you see that?
Your offensive lineman telling you got open receivers. Anyway, there you go. Sounds the past 24 hours or so. That you put that in for the weekend, and had some other things taking place this weekend.
Yeah, last year,
Panther volleyball.
Yeah, Lady Panthers 31 wins last year was a school record. They lost a couple. It was like they were 8 or 9-2 or something. They've now won 19 straight. They're now 27-2. They went 5-0 in El Dorado. More quality wins. 3 of the 5 wins came in straight sets. Chanute was a 20-win team. Valley Center was 15-8 or something. Wichita West was an outlier at 1-24, but some big wins in there. So they're going to go to Smith Center tomorrow. They've already beat Phillipsburg in Smith Center, I believe. So, gosh, that could be 29.
That was center. They had like 3 6-foot girls. One of them has even verbally committed to Montana State.
She didn't sign a contract.
I don't think she's going to sign a contract. She might.
And I will tell you, so Hillsborough, obviously a quality opponent the other night, beat them pretty handily in 2 sets. Emporia had 2 girls over 6 foot, one at 5'11", and Great Bend beat them at the net. So it is a team that's very well-rounded. Good hitting, good blocking, good serving.
How good's this team there, Mr. Bear?
It's coming together. It really, really is. I mean, we've got a couple of freshman hitters in Micah Elligood and Michaela Minton. Wow. They've come a long way since the start of the season. Our back line is starting to pass. Kaya is doing a pretty good job of running the court. If you look at the distribution, you've got no idea where she's going to go with the ball, and that just helps, Cassie and Kara, the 2 seniors, just planting the ball in the floor. I mean, there was one match this weekend. I think Cassie had 12 kills and Kara had 13 kills. So, she evenly distributed, and we're not scared of we're playing anybody. Again, the back line's getting a feel. Kimmy Hofflinger was flying around, doing her thing this weekend, making great ups. It's exciting volleyball. It really is.
We're going to nickname Kaya Magic. No-look pass over the back, a tips point. Yeah, real quick, regional tennis, so you got to make the top 6 to go to state. Great Bend sophomore Paige Stacy finished 4th in Salina. She's going to Andover this week. And then the 321A regional in Waukene area kids took 5 of the top 6 single spots, had a couple of regional champions in the singles and the double side. And watch for a story coming up on GreatBendPost.com. We talked to Ellsworth coach. They won 2 regional titles, more than doubled up the field in Waukene, and all 6 of those girls are headed to state. And other than Wichita Collegiate are going to be right there in the mix to bring home some hardware.
Okay, there you go. Sounds of the weekend. And we'll have more sports headlines as well. Coming up, we'll talk Great Bend Liberal and, Great Bend Hayes Friday night.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
C&E Doors, this is Eddie.
I need some work done.
Are you in a haunted house?
No, it's my garage door. I think I might need a new one.
We can take a look. We can do repairs and replacement. We'll see what's right for you.
What a relief. I thought I was going to get stuck in here.
Call the guys in orange at C&E Doors to fix your haunted house.
C&E Doors, Great Bend. Follow the orange signs just south of 10th and Harrison.
Discover affordable education with Barton Online. Whether you're looking to pick up a class or earn your associate degree, we've got you covered for less than half the cost of a university. We are always enrolling with 5 sessions available this fall, including 16, 8, and 4-week sessions. Get started when it fits your schedule. Tackle your gen eds or the first 2 years of college with the low-cost pathway and save time and money with Barton Online. Visit online.bartonccc.edu and enroll today.
The playoffs continue on ESPN Radio.
Racing around third is Otani. He's in to score. Mookie Betts, a bases clearing double, and it is 9-0.
The Dodgers win Game 1 at home. Can they make it 2 straight, or will the Mets bounce back?
Game 2 of the National League Championship Series. Dodgers and Mets. Coverage at 2:30 this afternoon on 1590 KBGB at 95.5 FM.
It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Sports Day also brought to you by Equity Bank, adding value for their customers and communities. Equity Bank in Great Bend. Go to equitybank.com to find out more. Also, the Animal Medical Center in Great Bend, large or small, they take care of them all. And the American Plains Co-op. American Plains Co-op Bulk Fuel Department featuring number 2 Clear Diesel, Bulk Fuel E10, fuel delivery and all your lubricants and fuel supplies. Sean Bear with us, breaking down Liberal and Great Bend. 14-7, they got the win. They avoided the upset at the Burial Grounds on Friday. Wow, 71. That's the thing. The Panthers have done such a good job controlling some really top backs this year, and then Porras went for 171 on him. But 71 plays, that's a lot to run in high school football.
That is a lot. And, even he got tired. They brought in another young man that was just as fast and was doing his thing as a fill-in, and all of a sudden it was like, thunder and lightning. He was the lightning. He was a little bit of a speed back himself. So, but 71 plays when you've got your defensive line getting leaned on by some 300-pounders, because Liberal did have a very large offensive line. Late in the game, I guarantee you those guys were on fumes, meaning our defensive line just did everything they could to fight and crawl and stay standing.
Talk about the fourth quarter. How nervous did you get?
Well, I was pretty concerned. The fourth quarter, I thought, okay, let's just go drive, and we'll put this thing out of reach. Instead, we didn't. We motored down, had a couple of plays that could have been big plays that we didn't convert on, and they went down and scored, and all of a sudden they got the ball left with 5 minutes, and Hesh and I kind of were talking off the air, oh my gosh, they're going to milk all this clock, just grind it down, they're going to score, and he's going to go for 2, and we're not going to get a chance. Thank goodness the defense stepped up enough,
yeah.
and maybe they called a few plays that were probably a little bit beneficial for us, putting the game in their freshman quarterback's hands. He was a little errant on a couple of throws there with the last 2 out of 4, and Great Bend walked away. And, there was an interview that I saw, and Jay Sharts summed it up. Nothing wrong with 6-0. There's 6-0, baby. That's what's his takeaway, and that's the perfect mindset going into this week.
It doesn't matter because Hayes High's coming in town. Are teams defending Great Bend any differently than what you saw earlier in the year as people say, well, maybe we can do this to them?
It's actually, they're not trying to hide it, that they're when Premer goes out, they're giving safety help up over the top, which is great because you're getting a lot of man-to-man coverage on the backside. I'd like to see Great Bend do a little bit more work on running routes versus man-to-man coverage that creates separation. Too many times it's like, hey, we got man-to-man, we're going to beat them on a go route. Well, that's fine and dandy, but the go route is also one of the easier routes. It's just a race. Who's going to run? I'm going to get in your hip pocket. You may be faster than me, but I'm going to underplay I'm going to underplay it. And if Minton isn't 100% perfect, which he did throw a dime to Premer last weekend, I mean, you couldn't have thrown it any better. They're going to defend it. But if we could get something that we break off at 15 yards and cut across the field and catch it at 15 and run for 45, I mean, that's how you beat man-to-man coverage. But, there were things that Liberal was giving us that I talked with Coach after the game, and I said, do you remember when Coach Henry was your coach over at Claflin, and you were playing in the state championship? He was playing Pittsburgh-Colgan, I think. I said, it's never a bad thing if you can call the same play 6 times in a row and it's successful. Don't feel like, I can't call it again. It's too easy. They had a couple of looks where we just by alignment, we were going to win the play. They were trying to cover to us, and they had a safety 15 yards off of our inside receiver. And I'm like, okay, play the game. Throw it to the inside receiver, throw it to the outside receiver, block the corner, and you're going to get 8 yards of play. Kind of the third quarter, we got away from that. They had 6 guys in the box, and they were trying to play over the top of Premer. We tried some motion things, and we tried some read option against it. And it kind of stalled us out a little bit, and I think it broke our mojo. And sometimes, coaches get into a rhythm calling plays, and you can't not call a bad play, and then all of a sudden you can get into a slump where you just can't find and get yourself underneath, you get your heels underneath you. And I think we kind of ran into that the third quarter. But no, I think, quite honestly, there were things that we can always do, and we have the tools to do them, that it's just a matter of putting it together no matter what that defense is doing or the look they're giving us.
All right, Hayes on Friday night. What's a Hayes High Great Bend game like to participate in?
to sum it up, my sophomore year of high school, I think we had gotten beat 10-7 versus Hayes. And I have my helmet off, and I'm walking through the line after the game, and I feel a tap on the shoulder, and it's one of the juniors, Alan Hipp. He says, "You better put your helmet on." And I was like, okay, well, I didn't understand why, but I put my helmet on. And we made it about halfway through the line. I heard a ruckus behind me, and I turned around, and there were two guys that were just throwing haymakers on each other after the game. So there is, it's 47 miles apart. There's WAC championship implications. The kids these days, they've got social media things that they can, outlets that they can go on and get kind of, in my opinion, stupid and crazy and just give locker room banter back and forth. It's going to be a crazy environment. I would tell anybody, if you want to see a fantastic football game in a high school level with some great coaches and some great players, come on out to Memorial Stadium on Friday night, because that's going to be an atmosphere. It really is.
Bo Black used to play it up big time. I mean, you go in the locker room and it was everywhere you look, cash versus trash.
It's tough. I'm here to tell you, put your money where your mouth is. There were times that, Great Bend would say, oh, they're recruiting players in, with the college to play against us. But this year, more than anything, Great Bend had one stolen late last year. A little toss sweep pass that trick play late in the game, and they got us. And, right now, again, we're playing for the Battle of the West, playing for the WAC championship most likely, because the winner will at least have 3 wins, and the other guy can tie them, but you're going to have the heads-up win, whoever wins this. So there's a lot riding on it, and it's going to be a big week for Great Bend versus Hayes.
Tony Crow. Was he at Fort Hayes right at?
He was behind me.
Yeah, but
a few years.
Yeah.
And we talked about that when he was the coach here in Great Bend. Super guy, knowledgeable football guy. I was sad to see him go, but on the same token, now with Aaron coming in and doing his thing, one door closes, another opens. So, hey, as long as we go get a piece of him every once in a while, I like it.
As far as, how much you've dug into Hayes yet, but some things that Great Bend's going to have to take care of on Friday night.
Well, I've looked, and they lost to a good Liberal team, or a Manhattan team. They lost to Derby, and everybody else that looks like they're doing a pretty good job against. And, of course, Derby is no stranger to the end zone. They're putting up a lot of points this year. Manhattan is typically what Manhattan is.
Yeah.
So, it's going to become one of those games where we talked about possession game. Keep the offenses off the field. If we can give them a good diet of sharts between the tackles, get him to make some defensive moves to stop him, and give Premer a little bit of green around him to get the ball, or use Premer. Sometimes you may have to use Premer just by alignment to have them switch up their defense. If they're going to take a safety up over the top of Premer, hey, you got Hall on the backside, you got Omach on the backside, you may need to flip them away. I always like to use motion. Motion would be huge, because your defense has to tip their hat. If nobody goes with your motion man, then they're playing some kind of zone, or somebody's really screwed up, and you're going to have a wide open guy over there. But put Premer around, move Premer all over, and confuse that defense. So I'm looking forward to it, because it's going to be beyond the kids. It's going to be a chess match by the coaches. I would expect they'll probably bring 2 pep buses down. It's going to be one of those special Friday nights. This is what Friday Night Lights are all about.
How do you settle your nerves, Sean? It's like, so, okay, Friday night you're going in, if you're a Dax Mitten or one of these kids, maybe it's like you going out down at Texas A&M Kingsville with,
you find a trash can, preferably not in the middle of the locker room, and you just absolutely get your system cleared out of everything that's in your stomach, because it's naughty. you're nervous, but yet for me, it was always, let me get hit. I just want to get hit. Because usually after that first really good hit, it clears your sinuses, so to speak, and all of a sudden things start to slow down. Because when you walk onto the field, your head's spinning, you're looking at everything, the crowds are going to be big. You just like to slow the game down, and sometimes a good, solid rocking will do that for you. Because, again, you don't want to play mad. You don't want to play scared. You want to find a happy medium. And a lot of times when you get your adrenaline too juiced, it's a bad thing, bad mojo. You try too hard. So get yourself good and cleaned out. I always like to go on my own and say a little prayer and thank whoever, and get myself in my own head. And you called our games at Fort Hays.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought, well, why he's not really into the game. Look at him. He's over there sitting off by himself. Well, I was sitting by myself because if I watched our defense, I could get too keyed up. I just go off by myself and just keep myself, hey, what worked? What are they doing? What are they seeing? You just got to talk yourself calm. And Dax the Minton, he's a guy that he can play emotionally. He's going to have to be calm Friday night under every good and bad. And, if I could give him one piece of advice, leave the refs alone, because sometimes Daxon likes to go help the refs call the game. Leave the refs alone and just go out there and run your offense, and good things will happen.
I still remember the game. Yeah, Texas A&M, Kings, and they brought out their mascot. We talked about Ralphie the Buffalo Runner. They had a cage on a wagon with a pig in it.
Yeah,
and then
hyena.
The
Javelina.
Yeah, the javelinas. Yeah, and their cheerleaders had go Hoggies.
Yeah, and it was weird because palm trees. I didn't realize we were that far south, but there were palm trees, and it was interesting. But that was fun because for 3 quarters, they were talking about they were going to show us what Texas football was all about, and I think for 3 quarters we showed them what little Western Kansas football was all about. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, they had 3 future NFL players came off that Corpus Christi team. Texas A&M Kingsville team. All right, Sean, thanks a bunch. Have fun Friday night.
Oh, looking forward to it. Hey, get on Max Preps and vote for the game of the week. Make sure that you put your vote in for the Hayes Great Bend game. You get a lot more coverage, and this is going to be, should be a game of the week by all news outlets, because it's a battle for the West, and who's going to represent the West and go out there and kick the East's hiney in postseason.
Can't wait.
Me either.
Sean Bear with us on Sports Day.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB Great Bend and 95.5 FM K238CK Hoisington.
If you're needing a healthcare plan for your business, let the experienced and dedicated staff at Freedom Claims Management Incorporated customize a health insurance plan that fits your business's need. Regardless if you're a large corporation or a small business on Main Street, Freedom Claims Management Incorporated can help you provide your employees with great health coverage at an affordable cost. Visit freedomclaimsinc.com, where you can schedule a free, no-obligation health assessment today. Freedom Claims Management Incorporated in Great Bend.
Extend the life of your equipment with the best warranty program and risk management tool in the agriculture industry. The Cenex Total Protection Plan covers new and used equipment. Receive up to 10 years or 10,000 hours of engine coverage when you use Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster Premium Diesel Fuel and synthetic lubricants. With no deductible, the Cenex Total Protection Plan provides unmatched coverage to give you the power you need to keep your business running like a well-oiled machine.
Contact American Plains Co-op Fuel Department in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor, today.
Sports, leisure, fitness and wellness, even senior and adaptive needs. It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Pick up a program guide or stop by the rec office at 1214 Stone in Great Bend. Or check out the website, greatbendrec.com. Live, play, explore at the rec.
It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Live, play, explore at the rec.
This month, we're highlighting the performance of DeKalb products in Kansas. Joining me is DeKalb agronomist Jeff Schaaf. And Jeff, what are you seeing and hearing about the 2024 harvest in the sunflower state?
We're having an outstanding year with the DeKalb product portfolio in Kansas. A few products that I'd like to point out are DKC 6425, DKC 6835, and then a new one, DKC 11443. The first product, DKC 6425, is a product that farmers have used on their field for several years now, and it's been a solid top-yielding product once again this year. It's Kansas tough. The second product, 6835, is one that I'd like to highlight because of its extremely high yield potential. It's a credit to our fantastic group of breeders for DeKalb. They never settle in bringing products that fit our area. The third is a new product, DKC 11443.
Thanks, Jeff. And for more information on the DeKalb lineup, visit cropscience.com/DeKalb.
Sports Day presents On the Prowl with Mike Corson, an inside look at all the sports taking place at Great Bend High School.
Welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB 95.5 FM. Mike Corson joined today. It's Monday, so it must be cross-country time with Panther coach Lyles Lashley. Coach, I was at the Coors Field this weekend. Obviously, Charlie Blackmon just retired and likes your song. So I didn't use your name, but you became part of the Coors Field lore when I told him about asking you to retire it. At least for the season.
Me retire? Oh, no. I've known the outfield way longer than Charlie. I mean, he's obviously a lot cooler and a lot richer than I am. But me and the outfit we go way, way, way back. So no, we're going to keep that as my little song there.
I think you grew out your goatee into a beard because of Charlie Blackmon.
No, I've had my goatee a long time because every time I shave it, when I shave it, I get a new chin. So I don't like shaving it because I don't like seeing my new chins.
Yeah, I hear that, but now I have a white goatee, and I'm not sure I like that either. Let's talk about some Panther cross-country action. Girls took the week off, but the boys were in action Thursday, so ran against some smaller schools, third place overall. Just what'd you think as a team effort over there?
I thought they competed well. It was a short week for us. Kind of raced at Bishop Carroll on Saturday to come back and race, but we originally just take Isma off to that meet since he can't run on Saturdays, but we decided to take the whole guys team, being so young. I thought it'd be a chance to get them to compete. With some smaller schools, but I mean, there were some good small schools there. Obviously, Bueller's always a powerhouse in 4A, and then Hutch Trinity is, I think, the ranked number 2 right now in 2A. They always have a really good team too, so they have a lot of good depth too. But I thought overall they competed really well. The young kids competed well. The courses, they always like that course whenever I break people, especially when I was in Ellenwood, being a 2-loop course, and it was just kind of a small flat course, so that's nice to be able to get out there and run fast.
Yeah, and we talked about smaller schools, but we know the running is not bound by the size of a school. So the Trinity kid runs a 15:54, but you had 2 kids finish in the top 5. Were they pushing for any better than top 5? Always?
No, I mean, we thought that's where they'd be. I think Izzy ran a great race. He finally got in there and PR'd big time. This PR before that was in 17:20. So, but he has that in him. I mean, I knew we were waiting for him to finally put a race together with that. And then Stroop ran well. Good second lap. Right at the end of the second lap, or first lap, he started fading just a little bit, but then he competed really well the second lap. I think he was at 8th or 9th at one time. And then it finished strong to get into the top 5.
So Izzy cut about 65 seconds off a PR?
Yes.
That's impressive. I don't care what the course is.
No, we were happy with that because his workouts have shown that he can do that. And what he could do is just the poor thing with Izzy, he's not running on Saturdays. He doesn't get to go to the Twilight meet or the Bishop Carroll meet where a few meets where you get to run where they have super fast courses. And, he's more of has to go to Bueller and our course, and Larned was almost 400 meters long. And then we had another course, Beretta Academy was a little long too that he ran at. So it was nice to let him have a chance to run on a fast course.
Talking to Panther cross country coach Lyles Lashley, and then your other scores packed up and basically were separated by about 3 seconds. Any plan there? Just kind of work out that way?
It kind of worked out that way. They were just running whatever they, how they felt, and then they just happened to finish that way.
WAC this weekend. Our tennis is in the postseason. You guys are getting ready to go, but WAC this week in Hayes. So just 5 schools. How does that impact how the kids run?
It really doesn't matter because the girl, both varsity sides, you can run 10. So we loaded that. I think my first or second year. My first year, I think there was like 28 people in the varsity race, and there's like 80 or 90 in the JV. So we were able to be able to run 10 in the varsity division. So it looks more like a cross country race, which is only 5 teams. So nothing really changes how you train things. You kind of let them do with their own thing, especially on the girls' side, to see who could have a chance to compete to be the WAC individual champion. The girl from Garden, obviously, is going to be really tough. She ran a really fast time this past weekend and has run well all year. So that'll be somebody for those girls to shoot for with that. So I think a little tune-up, especially since the girls are only running 4K.
Girls get a week off and then run a 4K. How does that suit them up for regionals the week after?
I love it, actually. It just gives them a chance to run a little shorter, run a little faster, pace. So when they go through, the mile in the 2 mile regionals in the state, it gives them a chance that, hey, we went through a lot faster when we ran that 4K, so we should feel a lot better going through there. So I really enjoy it. When we were in college, we raced 8K, most of the year, but always the week before our conference meet, we always ran a 5K or even a 6K or a 4 mile, just for a little tune-up right for our conference meet. So it kind of simulates that, and I always loved it when I ran, so I really think it's cool.
You guys got the regional coming up out at Lake Barton. Early morning races to start. It's been nice. Now we're in freeze watches. How's your volunteer situation for regionals?
We're looking good. We just about got everything wrapped up. I think we maybe need 1 or 2 more, but everything should looking good. A few more golf cart drivers, and I think we're good to go.
So the fun stuff.
Yep.
Panther cross country coach Lyles Lashley, good luck this weekend at Hayes for the WAC championships, and then we'll see you at regionals the weekend after that.
Sounds good. Thanks, Mike.
More sports day after this.
C&E Doors, this is Eddie.
I need some work done.
Are you in a haunted house?
No, it's my garage door. I think I might need a new one.
We can take a look. We can do repairs and replacement. We'll see what's right for you.
What a relief. I thought I was going to get stuck in here.
Call the guys in orange at C&E Doors to fix your haunted house.
C&E Doors, Great Bend. Follow the orange signs just south of 10th and Harrison.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Ryan, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
When it comes to car maintenance, it's good to know a local guy that can get things done. The Eller family has been in the auto repair business in Great Bend forever. Greg Eller continues that long tradition of helping people. Eller Automotive Repair specializes in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 Fridays. Eller Automotive Repair at 915 Morton, right behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, 10th and Morton.
Valleyvet.com, Valleyvet.com.
Cattlemen, it's that time of year to graze those stocks and waterways. And to keep those cattle there, you need reliable temporary fencing from Valley Vet Supply. Valley Vet has solar and plug-in electric fencers from Gallagher, Parmac, True Test by Datamars, and more. Plus, Gallagher insulators, Bayguard polywire, grounding systems, and all the accessories you need to finish the fence. See these fence products pictured at valleyvet.com, and you can place your order online. There you'll find exceptional value and a large selection of meds and more. Shipped fast and free on most orders over $75. Find your ranching needs at valleyvet.com or shop their store in Marysville.
Valley Vet Supply.
He's passionate about his high school sports and his trendy sports apparel. Sports Day presents the Great Bend Tribune's Jim Masunas.
Welcome back. Sports Day here on 1590 KVGB 95.5 FM. No Jim Masunas today. He is at Regional Golf down in Newton today and haven't been able to raise him on the old telephone. So maybe Jim will call in here coming up in just a couple of minutes. Hopefully we can get an update from Jim Masunas here on the Monday program. I want to remind you, Sports Day brought to you by a lot of great sponsors, including Freedom Claims Management, innovative healthcare plans for your business. Let them take care of everything for you from start to finish, and continued support. They have you covered. And by the Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street in Great Bend. And also in part by the Barton Cougar Booster Club, continuing their efforts to make the Barton Athletic Department the best in the country. Okay. Some other sports news today. Want to get to the AP Top 25 is out for this week for college football. And Texas maintained its hold on first place. 56 first-place votes. Some people thought maybe Oregon, after their win over Ohio State, might have a chance of topping them. But Texas solidly, after that solid win over Oklahoma, they remain number 1. Oregon 2. Penn State, who survived against USC, they're 6-0. They're number 3. Ohio State from the Big Ten, 5-1. They're 4. Georgia, SEC, 5-1. Miami in the top 6 at number 6. Alabama, 5-1. Alabama at number 7, followed by LSU, Iowa State of the Big 12 at number 9. Clemson is number 10. BYU in the Big 12, ranked 13th this week. Kansas State only moved up one spot after their big road win at Colorado, so K-State stays at number 17. And for the first time since 1960, Army and Navy are both ranked in the top 25. The Black Knights, Army, they're 6-0. They come in at number 23 this week. Navy at 5-0 is ranked number 25. Now, with the expanded college football playoff, that'd be pretty cool to get Army or Navy back in there. Don't know if it's going to happen, but right now, 23 and 25. Other teams receiving votes, Utah, they've dropped off the map. They were a top 10 team to begin the year. They are just, they got 7 votes this week. That's it. That's from the AP Top 25 poll. Quick peek ahead to Friday night. Week 7 of the high school football season, Western Athletic Conference, a big game here in Great Bend. Unbeaten Great Bend hosting 4-2 Hayes. Garden City's at Dodge City and Liberal at Ulysses. Rivalry game Friday in Larned, Earl Roberts Field. Larned 2-4 against the Hoiston Cardinals, who are 2-4. We'll be talking with Zach Barrett. He'll be in studio, bringing over a couple players on Wednesday, so don't miss that. That'll be at 1 o'clock on the Wednesday Sports Day show. Clearwater 3-3. They're in Pratt to take on the 5-1 Greenbacks. Hillsboro is at Lions. Ellenwood, they traveled to number 1 Conway on Friday night after that tough loss on Friday on the road to Hutch Trinity. Ellenwood, if they want to get in the top 4 in district, it's going to come down to that last game of the season in 2 weeks at home against Medicine Lodge. Beloit, 4-2 at Ellsworth, who really got slapped around by Halstead on Friday night. Ellsworth's 5-1. Beloit, 4-2 on the year. Russell is at home. They'll host Minneapolis coming up on Friday night. And 8-man games, big ones. Central Plains, 5-1 at Little River, 5-1. Stafford and at St. John, rivalry game there. Stafford 1-5, St. John 2-4. Trigo is at La Crosse. Trigo just 2-4, but their first 4 games were against very good teams. Leopards 1-5. Maxville, well, they'll travel to number 2 ranked Victoria on Friday night. Kinsley 5-1, hosting Sublette 5-1, a key district matchup there. Ness City is at Ellis. Dighton 6-0 at 6-0, Hodgman County. Big one out at Jetmore. Lincoln 5-1 at Sylvan. Lucas 5-1. Good matchup there. And South Barber plays at Pawnee Heights. Tescott is at Chase. Otis Bison is open this week. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Wrap up today's show right after this.
Hey, y'all, it's Dr. Ty here at Animal Medical, and in the next couple months, we are going to pivot and talk about behavior and training. From our standpoint, we see it affect so many folks out there in the relationship with their animal and even the relationship with us as their caretaker is all affected by how those animals get started from a training process. We focus on some basics. If you have any questions, call. Large or small, we take care of them all.
Central and Western Kansas residents, are you looking for a new vehicle? Marmy Auto Group can make it happen. Marmy Auto Group includes Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep and Ram, Chevrolet, and GMC. Marmy Auto Group, your Central and Western Kansas dealer, has new and pre-owned vehicles, or we can special order your vehicle today. If your existing vehicle needs serviced, Marmy's award-winning service department can help. Come to Marmy Auto Group on 10th or marmys.net. Marmys, make it happen.
Hey high school seniors, ready to figure out what's next? Barton Community College's Senior Day is the place to be on November 20th. Whether your dream starts with tackling your gen eds and transferring to a university, or you want to dive straight into a technical program that can land you a job in as little as 1 semester, Barton has you covered. Did we mention that there's $6,000 in scholarships up for grabs? Sign up before November 4th at seniorday.bartonccc.edu. Your future's waiting. Discover it at Senior Day.
Now, in its second decade, it's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
And in part by C&E Doors, your full-service garage door company. Follow the orange sign south of 10th and Harrison. The Great Bend Recreation Commission, dedicated to improving our community and the lives of its individuals. And Eller Automotive Repair, where they specialize in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Wrapping up the Monday Sports Day show. And it's been one of those years that, well, KU fans, I guess, unfortunately, are used to. Let's get past the football season, and then we can get into basketball. AP preseason basketball. Top 25 released today. Kansas picked number 1 in the preseason poll. They got the nod on half of the 60 ballots from national media to start the season ahead of Alabama and 2-time defending champion UConn. The rest of the top 5, Big 12 member Houston is 4. Big 12 member Iowa State is 5. Big 12 member Baylor is 8. And Big 12 member Arizona is 10. I would say that's pretty good representation when you can get 5 of the top 10 in the preseason poll. All right, we'll be back tomorrow on the show. We'll talk Hoisted football with Cole Rife, Barton volleyball coach Megan Bessiker, and Mike Corson on the Prowl. Talk to you then.